Happy New Year, everyone. We're kicking off 2025 with a financial news roundup that's already got some pretty big headlines.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year.
It really is.
I think this is a really fascinating start to the year for sure. The landscape is definitely shifting, and a lot of these stories are going to give us a little bit of a glimpse of what's to come.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
And first up, let's talk about electric vehicles.
Oh, okay.
Because it looks like BYD has dethroned Tesla again for the top spot in the last quarter of 2024.
Yeah, that's right. They sold almost 600,000 battery electric vehicles in Q4 compared to Tesla's 495,000. This is actually the second time that BYD has outpaced Tesla in quarterly sales. What's really interesting is that Tesla's annual deliveries actually declined in 2024 for the first time ever.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. They delivered just under 1.8 million EVs for the year, while BYD came in just under that at 1.76 million.
So they're really, really close.
Very close.
Yeah. So what does this mean for consumers? Is this good news?
I think overall it is good news for consumers because you have more competition.
Right.
Which usually means better prices and more choices.
Right.
So this could be a real turning point where we see a wider range of EV models
Makes sense.
at more accessible price points.
Awesome. So good news for anyone who is thinking of making that electric switch.
Yeah.
Now let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Apple.
Okay.
It seems like their Siri has gotten them into a little bit of trouble.
Uh-oh.
They've agreed to settle a lawsuit for $95 million over allegations that Siri was recording private conversations without users' consent.
Wow.
So this is pretty big. And actually, affected users could receive some money from this payout.
Interesting. How much are we talking?
Up to $20
Okay.
per Siri-enabled device that they own between September 2014 and December 2024.
Okay, so this settlement and Google's similar settlement last year really kind of emphasizes the growing concerns around voice assistance and privacy.
It really does. It really makes you think twice about what you're saying around all these devices.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, is this a sign that tech companies are actually starting to take these concerns a little more seriously?
It could be. This kind of financial hit
Yeah.
might be the push that they need to really prioritize user privacy and data security.
Right.
It will be interesting to see what happens and how they adjust their practices moving forward.
It will.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of interesting developments, the crypto world is buzzing with speculation over which country might be the next to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender.
Right.
Following in El Salvador's footsteps from back in 2021.
Oh, yeah.
So Polymarket, which is a crypto prediction platform, is actually showing a 75% chance that another country will jump on the Bitcoin bandwagon this year.
Wow.
So it's pretty likely.
Yeah.
Now, with Trump back in office, and we all know he is very pro-Bitcoin.
Yeah. He loves Bitcoin.
He does.
Yeah.
It's adding another layer of intrigue to this whole thing.
For sure.
And some analysts are even predicting a 38% chance of the U.S. establishing a Bitcoin reserve this year in 2025.
That would be a game changer.
It would. It really would. So it seems like El Salvador really sparked a global conversation about the role of Bitcoin in national economies.
It did, for sure. And this is definitely, with Trump back in office, a storyline with a lot more twists and turns probably coming up.
Definitely one to watch. Now, shifting gears completely to trade. Mexico has just imposed a 19% tariff on goods imported from China via courier. This is going to directly impact those e-commerce giants, Shein and Temu.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. And this move is really interesting because it means that goods from the U.S. and Canada are only facing a 17% tariff.
Oh, wow.
So they are specifically targeting countries that don't have trade agreements with them.
Interesting. So is this a sign that we are going to see more protectionist trade policies under Trump?
It could be. And if so, this could have some major ripple effects across global trade and could impact prices for consumers.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal. This is something that anyone who shops on those really trendy online platforms should be paying attention to.
For sure. For sure. Speaking of explosive stories, let's talk about that Tesla Cybertruck that went up in flames outside of Trump International Hotel
How ironic.
on New Year's Day.
Talk about a way to ring in the new year.
Oh, my gosh.
Luckily, no one was hurt.
That's good.
But the truck itself was pretty badly damaged.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. So Elon Musk was very quick to clarify that it wasn't a vehicle malfunction.
Oh, really?
It was actually something in the truck bed that caused the explosion.
Oh, wow.
He even said that Tesla will be fixing it up and getting it back on the road.
Wow.
Which I thought was pretty interesting.
It's a publicity stunt.
I think so.
For sure.
It's like straight out of a movie.
It really is.
Yeah.
Now, for a story that could really impact us all, A federal court has overturned the Biden-era net neutrality rules.
Yeah, I saw that. This is a big deal.
It is.
For Republicans who've long opposed these regulations, it removes the FCC's authority to enforce net neutrality.
Right.
So now internet service providers could have a lot more freedom to manage traffic and to prioritize certain websites or services.
So for the average internet user, what does this mean? Does this mean slower speeds, restricted access?
It's definitely something to be concerned about.
Okay.
You could see a scenario where internet providers are creating fast lanes for those who can afford it,
Right.
while everybody else is stuck in the slow lane.
Wow.
And this could also lead to higher monthly bills for certain types of content or access.
So this could really reshape how we even use the internet.
It could. It could reshape the entire internet landscape, potentially impacting everything from how we consume information to how businesses operate online.
It's a very big deal. And speaking of big deals, let's go back to the crypto world. There is a lot of speculation around how Trump will approach Bitcoin during his presidency.
Yeah, for sure. Some analysts are thinking that instead of making a big public announcement about establishing a Bitcoin reserve, Trump might take a more subtle approach. One theory is that he'll focus on restricting the sale of seized Bitcoin that's currently held by the U.S. government.
Oh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's no small amount of Bitcoin either.
Yeah.
You're talking about an estimated 198,109 Bitcoins.
That's a huge amount.
Yeah, that's a massive stockpile.
Huge. It would be a very clever way for the U.S. government to increase its Bitcoin holdings without impacting the market price through large-scale purchases.
Interesting. So what would this do to the crypto world?
Well, it could send ripples through the crypto world.
Yeah.
It could impact Bitcoin's long-term value and add a whole new level of uncertainty.
For sure, to an already volatile market.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a quick look at some of today's stock market movers.
Okay, so Carvana is facing a short seller attack from Hindenburg Research, which is raising some doubts about the company's recent turnaround.
Now, for those who may not know what a short seller attack is, can you just give a quick explanation?
Yeah, so basically it's when an investor bets that a company's stock price is going to drop.
Got it.
And they profit if the stock goes down.
Okay, very interesting. Now, on a more positive note, it seems like Unity Software is getting a nice little boost thanks to Roaring Kitty, a.k.a. Keith Gill, who's known for his really savvy stock picks.
He's good.
And then we have Supercom, which is a company specializing in advanced public safety technologies.
Right.
They're soaring today after landing some major contracts.
Good for them. They're definitely one to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. And we cannot forget about Rigetti Computing.
Oh, yeah.
Who are making waves with their advancements in quantum computing.
They're doing cool stuff.
They are. This is groundbreaking technology that really has the potential to revolutionize entire industries.
It's mind-blowing when you think about the possibilities.
It really is. Now, on the flip side of that, Tesla stock took a dip today following news of their delivery misses.
Interesting.
So it seems those rising EV competitors are really starting to make their presence known.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a very dynamic market out there. These are just a few of the companies that are making headlines today, but they all point to larger trends that are shaping the financial world.
Definitely a lot to process.
There is. Speaking of a lot to process, let's talk about Meta.
Okay.
Because it seems like there's some political maneuvering going on.
What's going on?
Well, Nick Clegg, their global affairs chief, has stepped down.
Interesting.
And he's being replaced with Joel Kaplan, who is a very prominent Republican.
Okay.
And a former deputy chief of staff in the George W. Bush administration.
Oh, wow.
So this is a very calculated move by Meta.
It seems like they're trying to build bridges with the incoming Trump administration and the Republican-controlled Congress.
Exactly. So Kaplan's appointment could signal a shift in Meta's political strategy.
Yeah.
And this could actually influence how they handle these hot-button issues like online content moderation and regulation.
That's right.
So do we think we're going to be seeing changes on Facebook and Instagram?
It's definitely something to watch.
It is.
This move could have really far-reaching consequences for how we experience social media
in the coming years.
Yeah.
Okay. Now for our final story. We have a whole bunch of class action lawsuits that are being announced against a lot of different companies, including Capri Holdings, DXC Technology Nextracker, and Transocean.
Oh, wow. So what are these lawsuits about?
They involve allegations ranging from misleading statements to financial irregularities and harm that was caused to investors.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
So this just adds another layer of complexity to the business world.
It does.
Yeah.
And it also reminds us that business decisions have very real-world consequences.
They do. It really underscores the importance of transparency and accountability in the corporate world.
It really does.
It's so interesting how a lot of these stories actually kind of connect back to each other. Like,
Yeah.
we were talking about BYD overtaking Tesla in these quarterly EV sales.
Right.
But then we also see that Tesla stock has dropped after missing those delivery expectations. It really highlights just how volatile that EV market is, especially as the competition heats up.
Oddly, and speaking of volatile, the crypto world never disappoints.
Never a dull moment.
Keeping us on our toes.
Right.
All the speculation about, another country potentially adopting Bitcoin as legal tender.
Yeah.
And now with Trump's stance kind of like adding fuel to the fire.
Oh, yeah.
It's really anyone's guess what could happen next.
It's like a big poker game with everybody trying to figure out what the next move is going to be.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, it's high stakes.
It is high stakes. Speaking of high stakes and strategic plays, Meta's decision to replace Clegg with Kaplan, who's a prominent Republican.
That's a very calculated move.
It's very calculated.
Right.
To align themselves with the new administration.
Yeah.
So could this shift in Meta's political strategy actually affect users?
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to be seeing changes in content moderation on Facebook and Instagram?
That's the million-dollar question, I think.
Yeah.
Because it does raise some concerns about whether Meta will end up kind of appeasing politicians, overprotecting users from all the misinformation and the harmful content out there. It's just a reminder that business decisions can really have some pretty big social and political consequences.
Yeah. And speaking of decisions that could have big consequences, the overturning of net neutrality rules.
Huge.
It's a really big deal.
It is.
And it could impact how we all experience the internet.
Imagine a world where internet providers can create those fast lanes for people who can afford it, while everybody else is just stuck
in the slow lane.
In the slow lane with limited access. This ruling could end up creating a digital divide, which could really hinder innovation and access to information for people who just can't afford those premium services.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah.
It is. And then those class action lawsuits that we touched upon earlier, they are a good reminder that corporate accountability is so crucial.
It is.
And these legal battles, even though they might take years to actually resolve, they demonstrate that companies can and will be held responsible for their actions.
I think that's really important.
Yeah. Now, shifting gears to something that's a little more...
A little lighter.
A little more mind-blowing.
Okay.
Rigetti Computing's advancements in quantum computing are truly remarkable.
They are.
Their 84-qubit Anka 3 computer has the potential to unlock solutions to problems that were previously thought to be unsolvable.
Yeah, it's incredible. Imagine a computer that can process information millions of times faster than traditional computers.
I can't even wrap my head around it.
It's pretty crazy. Quantum computing could really revolutionize everything, from drug discovery to materials science, potentially leading to breakthroughs in medicine, and you name it.
We are truly like on the cusp of a technological revolution.
I think so.
Yeah. And speaking of revolutionary, we can't leave out that whole Tesla Cybertruck explosion.
That's right. It was kind of a bizarre story.
It was bizarre.
Musk's insistence on repairing the Cybertruck and getting it back on the road. I don't know if it was a publicity stunt or...
I think it was a publicity stunt.
It really makes you wonder what their angle is.
It really does. You never know with Elon Musk.
Never know.
All right. So to wrap up, we've covered so many different stories today.
We have.
From... that EV race heating up to the potential disruption of net neutrality.
Right.
And then even the mind-boggling advancements in quantum computing.
It's been a whirlwind.
It has been a whirlwind. Yeah. And it just highlights that the financial world is constantly evolving.
Absolutely.
And that technology, politics, and global markets are all interconnected.
They all play a part.
So staying informed about these trends is so crucial.
It is.
For understanding, the big picture and making informed decisions.
Knowledge is power, especially in this world.
It is. I mean, it's amazing how quickly things can change.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
I mean, one minute, electric vehicles are this kind of like niche market, and the next minute they're completely disrupting an entire industry.
Yeah, and who would have thought that Bitcoin, once this fringe thing would be a topic of serious discussion in national economic policies.
It's crazy. And then you throw in quantum computing and it has the potential to revolutionize fields we haven't even thought of yet.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pace of change is only accelerating, and while it can feel a little overwhelming
Oh, yeah.
at times, it's also really exciting.
It's super exciting.
To see it all unfold.
It is. It definitely keeps us on our toes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
To help make sense of it all.
To break it down.
Yeah, and kind of help you figure out what it all means for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whether you're an investor or a tech enthusiast or just somebody who's trying to understand the world around them.
Right.
Staying informed is key.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up today, we encourage you to keep learning and keep questioning and just keep exploring the news that matters.
Definitely. And join us again next time for our next financial news roundup.
Yes. Until then, stay curious, everybody.